So I pick up my daughter Audrey from school. She's 9 years old and she stays late after school until I get off work. And when I pick her up, I look at her in the rearview mirror and I ask her, Audrey, did you finish your homework? Of course, she didn't finish her homework. I'm like, Audrey, you know the rules. First things first. You do your homework, then you can draw or read or play, do whatever you want, but you got to do your homework first. For as long as I can remember being Audrey's dad, I've felt like this big failure because I give her good, practical rules to help her make good choices, but I can't get her to follow any of them. On the way home, we stop at Bread Talk to get some bread for breakfast the next morning, and we go in and I tell her, Audrey, you know the rule, 2 pieces, you only pick 2. She picks up her square tray and the tongs, and I meet her at the cashier, and she's got this giant mountain of carefully stacked bread. And I'm like, I don't even want to go into the rules and why we have rules and why it's important that she follows them. So I'm just like, fine. We put it on the counter, and I just pay for it. I just don't want to deal with it. At this point, we hear this loud crash of glass smashing outside of the Bread Talk. And we look over and we see this old woman. She has gray hair and she's a little bit hunched over, and her hands are full of so many bags, except for this one bag that dropped to the floor. And she struggles to bend down and pick it up, and she brings it back into Bread Talk and hands it to the cashier. And this is when I think the cashier is going to give her another of whatever it is she dropped on the ground. But she doesn't. She just throws it away. And the old woman walks out of the store. So then I say to the cashier, what did she have? Give me whatever she bought and put it in a separate bag. I look over at Audrey, who is now standing outside of the store watching the old woman walk away. I say, can you see her? Audrey gives me the thumbs up. And she says, she's going on the escalator. I take the bag from the cashier, and I sprint over to Audrey like I'm some kind of Olympic relay racer. I hand her the bag. Audrey takes it, runs faster than I've ever seen her run before. I go back to the cashier. I pay for the bread and the 2 jars of pudding that this old woman had dropped on the floor. Then I leave Bread Talk, and I go out to find my daughter. I get out to the escalator, and I see that there is an escalator going down, and there's an escalator going up. And I don't know which way she went. And I figure I don't want to just pick the wrong one, and then I won't be there if Audrey comes back. So I just wait. And it feels like a long time, but I'm sure it's just a few seconds, and then my heart stops. Because I think, did I just fall for some child abduction scheme? Like, I just sent my daughter running into the arms of kidnappers waiting for her at the bottom of the escalator. Or maybe it was the top of the escalator. I don't even know which way to go running after her to find her. I decide I have to do something, so I'm about to get on the up escalator when I see from the corner of my eye Audrey is coming up from the basement. When she gets to the top, I give her this big hug, and I squeeze her probably just a little bit too hard and just a little bit too long, and I'm sure she's wondering what has happened since she's been gone for 5 seconds. I asked her, did you find the old lady? And she's like, yeah, I gave her the pudding. And she said, thank you, it's really kind. And I said, Audrey, it was really kind. We did a really nice thing. As we're walking to the car, I think to myself, like, what rule were we following to do what we did? Like, is it be nice to old ladies? And I couldn't come up with a rule, and I realized, like, I didn't do what I did because I was following a rule. I did it because I could imagine myself in that old woman's place, just having too many things in my hands and, you know, just being a little bit less strong and able as I was when I was younger and having a hard time. And I spent my last money on this pudding that I was really looking forward to eating when I got home, and then crash. Just a little bit of bad luck. And I know that I just wanted to go up to her and say, "Here, I got this for you. I'm really sorry you dropped your pudding." And Audrey wanted to do the same thing. And I hope one day Audrey comes up with her own rules that she'll live her own life by. But if she's learned from me how to be kind and when's the right time to show somebody some kindness, then I think she'll figure out the rest on her own, and maybe I'm not doing so bad after all. Thanks very much.